If you're dreaming of traveling the world whilst working on a cruise ship but you are unsure of the visa application process, stick around because I've got all the details that you need to know. Now, in today's video, we're going to cover the importance of visas. I'm going to share with you the detailed application process and give you some tips. We're going to go over the common visas that are needed on a cruise ships, and then lastly we're going to discuss some common issues and a few questions that come up when applicants need to apply for a visa. Now, if you are new to this channel, a warm welcome. My name is 𝐌𝐍𝐻𝐿𝐿. I've dedicated this playlist series Work and Travel Overseas to give you everything cruising, to share with you tips and techniques on what to do to succeed on your cruise ship journey. Now, I do value your support. If you've been with us before, keep motivating and inspiring each other. I see also the shares that are coming over my social media channels of some of you guys that are getting the jobs, and I basically want to say congratulations and job well done. Keep up the momentum and keep up the good work. Now, if you would love to see more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell icon so you will be the first one notified whenever I post a new video. Now, let us get straight into it, and I want to start basically this video with giving you an understanding of the importance of visas. Now, first of all, guys, I want us to know the importance of visas, that they are crucially essential for legally working as well as traveling to different countries. Now, without the correct visas, you might face legal issues or even delays and be unable to board the ship. Now, a classic example was, of course, an example that I recently encountered. Now, it is my first time in Australia, and this is my first time I've had to apply for an MCV visa together with, of course, a transit visa. Now, I'm going to explain what that means in a short while. Now, I had everything basically planned out. I was on my 2-month vacation, and I planned out everything according to the 2 months. But what I did not encounter, and I really want you guys to also, be aware of these things when it comes to processing time, is the fact that I needed to be closer to where I was applying the visa for. Now, what happened in my case was, okay, I went on my vacation. I was in Eastern Cape when I applied for visa. When I started actually applying for the visa, they told me that I could not get the transit visa, or I could not apply for it 1 month before I left. Now, this is one of the rules that we're going to speak about, some of them in later in this video. So I did everything, and I submitted basically the information up to the point where I could not proceed with the online application. Now, what I didn't know was the fact that they're going to need biometrics or fingerprints in this case, and I needed to be in Johannesburg, where they have this agency which works with the Australian government. So what happened was 1 month before I left, I was actually at home in Eastern Cape, and when I applied for the visa, now it was within that 1 month frame. What happened was they needed me to go for biometrics, and they used TLS contact. I'll share with you guys these details later on. Now, what happened was I could not find it anywhere else where I was closer to in Eastern Cape. I had to be in Johannesburg, and guess what? This was 1 week. This had to take 1 week to process, all the visas and all the documents. So I waited a week when I was home to get to Johannesburg. Now, bear in mind, I was left with 1 month when I started the visa. Now, meaning if I had to wait a week before I got to Johannesburg to finish off my vacation, of course, for personal reasons, when I got there, I had 3 weeks. Now, what I did not also know was the fact that they take about 3 weeks to process the visa, meaning I would not get the visa within the time frame that I needed to board my ship. Now, I almost did not board the ship and delayed my contract, and this could have ruined a lot of other things. But luckily to me, I realized this. When I realized this was happening, I tried to get the numbers and contact and email and send it to the Australian government and try to push this, because now I needed to leave urgently. Now, this process was extremely overwhelming, guys, and this is why I'm sharing this with you, because I don't want you to ever find yourself in a similar situation. Now, back to, the importance of the visas, which we were discussing. Now, guys, first of all, I want us to understand the common visas that are needed. Firstly, the most common visa that is needed is a C1D visa, or a crew member in transit visa, which allows you to board your ship, which is sailing in American waters. Now, even if in your itinerary you do not or you will not be flying to USA, it might happen that your company has itineraries that are based in USA, and in some cases, very rarely this can happen, but they transship you, meaning they move you from one ship to another. So in my experience, what I've seen is the fact that even if you're not going to USA, when you're starting off, they want you to get the C1D visa. Now, the requirements to apply is that you will need a valid passport. First of all, you will need a job offer from the cruise line, and then the proof that ties you to your home country, which of course you are applying from, and then a completed DS-160 form. Now, guys, I'm going to give you a link in the description to this DS-160 form. Everything is pretty much straightforward. You just need to fill in according to the instructions and give all the documentation that they need. Now, the steps: first of all, you need to fill in this form. It is available online. Once you complete it, you need to pay the application fee. Once you pay the application fee, then now you need to schedule and attend an interview with the US Embassy or consulate, depending on the country you're from. And then you need to provide your fingerprints and supporting documents during the interview. Now, if you have done it before, I know there's a new rule that now you do not need to come in for the face-to-face. You can simply courier your stuff if it's within a certain period of time that you last had your fingerprints. But if you're just starting off, this will not apply for you, and then you simply need to wait for your visa approval. That is how simple this can be, guys. And now what I want us to cover is our next most common visa, which is going to be the Schengen visa. Now, the Schengen visa will allow you to travel to 26 European countries. Now, a tip that I can also give you in this is the fact that it will depend on your itinerary of your ship, where it's located, the kind of embassy that you're going to. For example, you might be going to a Portuguese embassy, you might be going to a Spanish embassy, you might be going to an Italian embassy. So know beforehand, because these, at first when I encountered this, it was really confusing because I couldn't understand the difference. But if you know which country you're going to be joining to, that is the embassy that you need to search for. It's easy. You can go on Google, or your employer or your agency will share and communicate this information with you. Now, the steps is, first you need, like I said, to determine your Schengen country through which you will apply, and based on your cruise itinerary. Next up, you will need to fill in the Schengen visa application form, and then when you have done this, all the instructions will be online, or with the form they can send it to you. You can print it out and then send, bring it with you when you go for the interview. Now, you need to schedule an appointment at the embassy or at the consulate of the respective country that you're going to. Once you have the appointment, now you need to submit your application along with your supporting documents, which they're going to tell you exactly what they need. And then, if required, you need to attend the interview. It will depend from country to country, but you will know this information once again. And then after all, you will need to pay for the visa and wait for the processing period. Now, the last visa that I want to cover is the Australian visa. The first one you will need is the MCV, which is the Maritime Crew Visa, Subclass 988, and then the Transit Visa, which is the Subclass 771. These Australian visa, guys, trust me, it's really, really simple to get. The MCV, you simply go into the Australian, online link embassy, and I'll leave the link also in the description. You need to do everything online for this visa. It is that quick. But make sure that you fill in your information correctly. Once you are completed, within minutes, in most cases, they give you the visa, and there you have it. But then, if you are like a crew member like myself, you'll be joining in that country, you will also need a transit visa. Now, this is the one that I spoke about earlier on, that you need, guys, to allow yourself at least a month to make sure that, number one, you have enough time within the time period you need to make sure that when that month is left, you simply start the application process. Because if, for example, they need you to submit your biometrics, you can do that, and the moment they process it at TLS, then they're going to send it to the Australian government, then they're going to start processing your visa. So bear in mind, if you have time constraints, you need to really act with a sense of urgency on this one. Again, I'm going to leave the links on that one in the description. Now, what I would like us to now cover is a few tips for you to succeed with the detailed visa application. First of all, it is really important, like I've said, to start early, because this visa processing can take time. So don't leave it for the last minute. Begin your application as soon as you receive your job offer. And of course, they will communicate this information with you, whether it's your agency or directly with your employer. The next tip is to ensure that all your documents are complete and they are accurate to avoid any delays. Now, double check all forms, guys, for any errors or missing information. The next step is be honest in your application, guys, and also during your interview. Consistency in your responses can build the trust with the visa officers. Now, in some cases, like I say, it is important to keep in mind this, because if you are not honest, these guys will pick this up and it might just be something for any reason that might delay your visa process or even denied. Now, the next tip I will give you guys is to keep copies of all your documents submitted for your records. This includes your application forms, payment receipts, and correspondence with the embassies. Now, let us now handle common issues and some of the questions that I usually get. Now, first of all, guys, sometimes applicants can face, issues like missing documents or incomplete forms, or even delay in processing. If this happens, like I shared in my example, simply do not panic, guys. Proceed with caution and handle this as calm as you can be. Now, the solutions would be, for any missing documents, you need to ensure that you submit them as soon as possible. This will be important again. Remember, we are working with time. If you have incomplete forms, carefully review the requirements and fill in the missing details. Now, for processing delays, check the embassy's, processing times and plan accordingly. Remember, guys, patience is key. Now, a couple of questions that I usually get for the visas. The first one is, how long does it take to get a C1D visa? Now, processing times can vary, but typically it takes a few weeks from your interview date. Now, the next question is, how can I apply for the Schengen visa whilst working on the cruise ship? Now, the best answer I will give you is that it is best to apply before your contract starts. However, some countries allow applications extensions if needed. Now, guys, that is all that I wanted to cover in today's video. As you can see, the process is quite simple. Now, all the visas that I mentioned, they all have the steps, they all have the requirements, and they all have the guidelines. Maybe if you would like me to go more extensive into each and every one and show you step by step, depending if there's a lot of people that want that, just let me know in the comment section. I will be able to do a video. But other than that, guys, I hope that today's video was informative and could shed a light or add some value in one way or the other. Like always, it was a pleasure hosting and presenting this video to you. I wish you nothing but the best of luck in everything that you are doing. And like always, this is 𝐊𝐍𝐿𝐍 signing off. Until the next one, stay safe, be good. Goodbye, my friend.